Most problems in software and in AI are people problems. Most problems in software and in AI are people problems. So it's not about code. It's not about automation. It's all about people. AI is not responsible or accountable for any upcoming issues. People still are. I think AI makes us efficient at the boring parts and lets us focus on the creative parts.
Industry that people do not want to admit.
Most problems in software and in AI are people problems. So it's not about code. It's not about automation. It's all about people.
Hey weirdo, welcome back. Today we're joined by a true veteran of the software engineering world. Alex Ponomarev is Alex's journey is nothing short of incredible. Starting in a small town in Ukraine, he leveraged the open source community and a remote work environment to build a global career that has him visiting clients in New York. With over 25 years of experience spanning every corner of the industry, Alex is currently the founder and CEO of Volt, a boutique agency built AI native intelligence layers for venture capital firms, prolific writer, and the voice behind a popular Substack article, Thriving in Engineering, where he distills decades of leadership experience into practical, proven frameworks for over 3,000 subscribers. In an era obsessed with AI coding tools and the illusion of productivity, Alex brings a refreshingly pragmatic perspective. He believes that AI is an enabler that democratizes creation, the real edge in engineering leadership that is no longer purely technical. It's about making better calls, managing the team. Today, we're going to dive into his inspiring story, deconstruct the AI productivity paradox, and explore his frameworks for building high-performing, aligned teams. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coda. Thank you for hosting me today.
No problem. It's going to be a great conversation, I believe. So before we get anywhere, I have to ask industry that people do not want to admit.
I think people don't want to admit that most problems in software and in AI are people problems. So it's not about code. It's not about automation. It's all about people.
And can we dissect that a little bit? What do you mean by it's all about people?
Well, there are two sides. On one side, you have, depending on the type of business, you have either stakeholders or some kind of end users. So whatever the engineering teams are building, they're built for people, essentially, one way or another. On the other hand, engineering teams are comprised of people, and no matter what tools you use, we're all about AI. It's still about people because, there are people managing AI agents now. That's not going anywhere.
To your origin story, you started doing remote work well before anybody was doing remote work. Can you take me back to that time? What was it like building in Ukraine open source or using the open source community?
It was fun. I started very early. I was lucky because my grandfather, he was a radio engineer, and he was very much into things like DIY radios and so on. So when I was like 4 or 5 years old, he built his first computer ZX from scratch, basically. And he taught me how to write programs in BASIC and that kind of thing. So very early on, I was very deep into engineering, electrical engineering, radio engineering. I didn't have a proper computer like a PC until I was, I think, 13. And when I finally saved enough money to get one, I bought a disk with FreeBSD, and that's where it all started. And back in the day, the point is, we did have internet, but it was dial-up, so you can't really download much. So we were buying open source software on disks. That was the state in post USSR. I bought a disk. I wanted to get Linux, but I was reading a magazine where they were writing. It was like a magazine for hackers, printed one, and there were a lot of cool stories. I was reading Gibson's cyberpunk books and so on, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get FreeBSD. This is the system hackers use," and it had massive amount of software there, a lot of manuals. So I dove deep and got into Linux community, and that's where it all started.
I I want to touch in on the Linux community stuff because I've been a Microsoft user for a long time. I hate that I have to admit that, but I'm recently just starting in on my Linux journey, especially with everything going on with surveillance and connecting machines. Um, how have you seen Linux change over the years? And is it better now than it was before?
To be honest, for my workstation, for my machines at home, I use Macs because I love Linux for server side, and all my virtual machines are Linux. I run VPS. I'm a Mac user just because I don't have time. Unfortunately, to me, Linux for desktop was always, and I migrated like 16 years ago. So my state of mind is way out of date desktop wise. But the coolest thing about Linux for me was always the ability to tinker. Like you can build the whole system from scratch. You can have your own distro. That's the power there, in my opinion. Especially now with AI, you can just yeah let
Yeah, I'm running a mini PC right next to me with all of my AI agents running, building out my software. I understand the power of it now, but then to use it in the data kind of thing, I actually crashed my computer the other day because I couldn't handle my hard drive because I've got the new NVM hard drive
Mhm.
and it didn't cache properly. So then it ended up wiping the main drive, which sucks. So I had to redo that.
Yeah, sounds terrible. That was the reason why I migrated to Macs day to day because you get C core, you can still tinker with a lot of things, and a lot of things run natively, but you don't have to spend time daily on things like that.
Very fair. So let's get into your company Volt. What does it do for your clients?
Systems for financial firms, for venture funds, for private equity firms, family offices. And you mentioned privacy related developments. So companies face the same challenges. They want to own their data, they want to own their workflows, they want to own their AI and control what goes where. And we help them with that on top of all the native automation, agentic systems, and so on.
Everybody's jumping into the AI native stuff. It's become a powerful tool for not just basic users, but also our. What do you tell people who are trying to get into this space now? As what do you try and position them as?
The agentic systems, you mean?
Or just getting into the industry because I know we're having this whole junior software engineer problem where we can't figure out where they're supposed to be. How do we get past that problem?
To be honest, I don't understand this problem. I've heard about it, but it sounds really weird to me because I've been doing it for many years, and current company and our team is 10 years old. So we've been doing this way before AI as a team. And we always hired junior engineers who didn't know how to do things or they didn't fit. And the thing is, the leader, you hire junior people because of the personality and because of how eager they are to learn. They're typically very good at trying out new technologies. They have a lot of energy, they have a lot of time. That's what you hire for. And it doesn't really change with AI because um, over the past 3 years, the main one of the main that happened is that we get something new daily. And if your team ships production systems, you don't get that much time to experiment with new stuff that comes out daily. Somebody has to do it. And it's a perfect space for junior engineers to be applied, to show their value. That didn't change. And we've been doing that before because the pace was different, but the problem was the same. There's always yet another framework, yet another approach, yet another best practice to try out. And senior engineer, they have their battle scars. They're skeptical about a lot of things. So what you really need is a good balance in the team of people eager to try out new tech, and those people typically don't have a lot of experience, so they're overly optimistic. And then you need those grumpy senior engineers who are always skeptical. And of course, you have people in the middle.
It goes to my own personal experience as well. I got hired as a co-op student for building out project management tools, or not even tools. I was just doing project management. And then I went to my boss and I'm looking at code, and he gave me a chance and I ended up wowing them with what I could do. That's one of the things I want to let the audience know. You just have to put in, get, we live in this day and age where you're no longer being for your all. And it seems like you're just getting the pen for it, but showcasing that you're willing to go above and beyond tells your leaders that you're worth more and worth the investment. And I think we've lost that in the generational change. I don't know if you've seen that.
Well, I think, again, one of the biggest changes that happened post COVID, a lot of people were into tech industry because there was hiring surge, the pay was great, there was plenty of remote work opportunities, but that, like, we're past that time. So now to really put your blood and sweat into it and to really be to do more than you're asked for. And but the thing is, it applies to everyone. It's not just the thing about juniors because we can see it all across the whole industry. We can see CEOs becoming contributors to learn about how new tools work and so on, Joe Anthropic and OpenAI. So everybody is working hard. And the problem I see is that the expectation of easy life, easy money is still there. And it's not realistic anymore.
Do there being in the future, like let's go out way into the future, do you see there being an easy life, easy money way?
I don't know. I'm not really thinking about that. I think in there are always opportunities for easy money somewhere. I don't think it's something and worth pursuing. You don't do things in life because it's easy. You do, I think. I think all of us should be doing things we want to do, things we care about. And easy or not doesn't really matter. I was working, I don't know, 80 hours per week for the past 20 years. I don't care, AI or not. I'm still doing this. I'm doing more now because it's interesting. Not somebody tells me to work hard. There's some cool stuff to do.
That was big revelation for me when I stepped away from my career. Like I left, I saw ChatGPT and a career outside of it, outside of it was for the government because corrupt, waste money, and there's so many problems with it that I was morally disgusted, and it was mental health problems. But on top of that, I saw that the industry was going to change. I wanted to build something that was more I could be proud of, which is the weird. I'm running a 3D printing business as well as a software company, and I'm doing tourism coordinators for stuff for my town. Um, I
It's
think,
pretty cool.
and every day I wake up happy to jump into what I have to do. I think that lifestyle is coming. I don't know how to open people's eyes to it.
I can relate to that. I don't think you can. It's I personally believe that it's an internal thing. All you can do is share your perspective, and maybe it will resonate with someone, which is exactly what you're doing. And they will open their eyes themselves, and you would be an example. But yeah, what you described is it's very impressive. Sounds like a true leap of faith.
Thankfully, I have a partner that's supporting me through it. Like I couldn't have done it without her permission, even though she's like, "You didn't need my permission." I'm like, I kind of did just to get over that hurdle, but I thank her every day for being allowing me to do this. Um, let's go
Amazing.
back into the tech side of things. When you're developing for a company, how do you keep it contained?
Um, what do you mean by contained? Separation of data and
Yeah, so I'm very concerned with people using AI tools and then just going and hooking it into ChatGPT where everybody will have access eventually to that data. So I just wonder how you guys are going about segregating the online tools for the offline capabilities.
Well, there's a wide variety of tools for different needs. There, like if we're talking specifically about AI, there's so many open weight models now that you can run on a private server that is running in your office, and they're getting more and more efficient. Like probably this year, you wouldn't even need a GPU to run this model. Google's Gemma is amazing, and it runs on a regular Mac Mini. So um, I guess it very much depends on the data, on the company, but the tech is there. You don't have to rely on foundational models. Plus, most companies we work with, they have enterprise contracts there because it's financial services. Compliance and regulations there are very tight. So we run everything in their private cloud with security teams reviewing this. And in our own team, um, we have a very good process, honestly, where developers they don't have access to production data, so development is set from companies' data.
Very good. I keep on saying this, but people are so afraid that AI is deleting production databases. And in my career, I have done that twice. I have deleted production databases twice in my entire career, and I'm like, it's going to happen regardless of it's AI or it's a software engineer. Sometimes you just have to deal in the production, and sometimes you're going to fuck up. That's just a fact of life. um,
Yeah, well, when you have a larger team, you have a lot of safeguards so that it doesn't happen, AI or not. We have a DevOps team, reliability engineers. So whatever change is making, whatever change is happening, for example, we're rolling out a release or we're migrating the database. There's a set of practices like blue-green deployment where you have a copy of the whole product and you roll out changes to this copy, and then you basically route the users to the new copy, but the previous one it remains intact. So if anything goes wrong, you can always route the users back. So even if for some reason, which thankfully never happened, the data gets wiped out, you always have a hot instance you can route the users to, and of course there's proper backups and so on. So in production systems, it's less of a concern.
I want to warn people who are going out and doing this themselves that you should always be testing on a not live environment and pushing to things that are not always front facing. And even if you do, to have a backup just in case. Thank God I had a team to save my ass on both those times, because I don't know what I would have done if I had have deleted that much data.
Yeah, that's one why, even though we got much more efficient with coding, uh, there's still like I gave a workshop in Prague, I think a month ago, and the whole point of the workshop was that AI makes us efficient in, for example, in coding tasks, but for example, to close a ticket, you have to do 15 steps. And one of them became much more efficient. You still have to do 15 others, like having a proper deployment practice, having what you just mentioned is staging environment, having backups, like still have to do all that.
Does your engineering team still code?
Yes, the quick answer is yes. We're not doing it by hand mostly for some specific things, but it's very rare nowadays.
Yeah.
Code
I
is cheap.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't touched code in 6 months because now I'm able to like push my agents to really. I've always been a great debugger. I've always been somebody who can solve the issue with the that's presented in front of me, and I've just leveraged that in the AI now, so I can actually coordinate my AI to use my knowledge to fix the problem as opposed to actually me going in and hand typing the code anymore. But I'm really interested in how teams are no longer touching the code anymore. Is that what you're seeing? People who are really just understand how to diagnose the problem and then just coordinating with agents to push it forward?
You can mean a lot of things and a lot of different processes by that. So people typically think that using tools like Claude Code, for example, means that you just tell Claude Code by voice to build something, and then it goes and builds and deploys. And there are definitely cases where this works. Like most of my side projects are like that, where I don't care what kind of code it wrote. A lot of prototypes we do, a lot of things that, for example, product managers and non-technical people build are like that. But again, when you're building a production system, you have to read the code, you have to review everything AI written. So although you're not typing code anymore, you still like AI is not responsible or accountable for any upcoming issues. People still are. That's why people matter. And most work goes into architecture and review. And then there's this loop where the reviewer says, okay, no, you says to AI by commenting on a pull request, just like before we were doing on human pull requests. And then there's another cycle, and we're reviewing it again. We're working on the PRDs. So we're looking at the code. We're very close to it because we're responsible for how things will be a month from now, 6 months from now, because we're working on projects that span, like the biggest project is 10 years. We started it 10 years ago and we're still running it. So we have to know what's going on there. But if you're
Very
building
fair.
something that's gonna last for, I don't know, for a few months or an MVP, you don't care about that.
Yeah. I've coordinated code so that it makes sure that it's human readable, it reuses things. Like I've applied my standard to the code or to the agent before I allow it to write anything, just because I know the context engineering is more important than the actual coding itself. Understanding what you're expecting, and to your point, just to have something readable is nice.
Yeah,
um,
100%.
so let's go into the human aspect of things. What are you breaking down in terms of barriers now that you used to have to go through?
Great question. I'm very lucky with my team, to be honest. So I don't think I'm breaking a lot of barriers nowadays because we've been working together for so long. Uh, I think our team is somewhat special because we have very low turnover. So I'm like people who I started with 10 years ago are still in the team. So all the domain knowledge, all the experiences we have together, they're still here. And I think that matters a lot. It was interesting, I think, a couple years ago when we started working with new coding tools. I think first it was Devin, Cognition Now, then it was Cursor, and early on, the models were different, the harnesses were different, a lot of things weren't working, but we still, because we work with companies that are very forward looking, we still had to experiment with these things. And it was a very tough spot because you have to use something that is not fully working. Now it's a totally different world. In
Uh,
terms of bears of today, I think it's mostly the expectations around AI on the outside. It's not inside of the team.
what are some of those expectations?
Example, if you can vibe code something in an evening, you would expect that to be always like that. So you can work with a stakeholder who's like, well, I've done so and so in just an evening. Why your team is doing this for, I don't know, for a week? And we have to explain that the expectations are very different from a product in production and vibe code, and then think that you're vibe coding yourself. There's definitely a gap.
I think that gap always existed because even I remember back in the day being like having a manager who was an engineer being like, I've done this before, I get this and this. And I'm like, yes, but there is so much more now and so much we've learned since that time that you have to put in, and it's more work than you think it is. I can't stress this in leadership and management who has been in the engineering role. The tools have changed so much. And if you're not relying on the people who are building its experience and expertise, you're going to go down the wrong route. Um, I've I've had to do so many like POCs to showcase to my manager that hey, like this is not what we need to do. This is bad. This is going to cause us more grief. But it's like this tool I used 10 years ago is great, and it's like yeah, but not anymore. Not in today's standards. Um, do you think there's too many people who rely on their expertise of the past to make judgments of today?
I think there's a lot of people, but there are definitely some. I agree with you that it's not a new problem. None of the things we're seeing today, I think, are new. These cycles with the new technologies, they happen from time to time. AI is special because it makes us quite productive, for sure. But you know, there are all sorts of leaders who don't lead well, I would say. And it's not necessarily a persistent problem because we're humans, and it's a very tough job to be a leader of any kind, right? And maybe today you don't have as a leader, you don't have the energy to really be understanding. So you're just reacting, and that affects the team and people you're working with. So I think it's less about people, their personal qualities, and more about people just being people. It's not necessarily like a persistent problem. And also, yeah, AI is introducing new things. The famous Dunning-Kruger effect, where people are asking AI and then using it as an argument. That became a thing, more of a thing because before it was Googling and it took more time. So yeah, that happens more.
I use I mainly use my AI as a data aggregator. I write a lot of reports, politically motivated on X and doing things to just kind of showcase how Canada's not doing so well. But I use it so much as a data aggregator, just finding sources of information for me to review and then take that data that I understand and then making my reports based off of it has sped up my researching skills as much as I possibly could. And to the audience out there, I'm a reform troll. I used to go in and troll people and find all this information, and it used to take me months to build up an entire dossier on somebody, and now I can do it in 30 seconds, and that scares the crap out of me, honestly, especially with bad actors out there. Um, what? How do we combat bad actors?
Um, I'm not sure who you would count a bad actor. Maybe I'm just, living in a different bubble. So,
So
you explain.
yeah, so I bring that up because I believe Mythos is launching today, or is being released today, and I know there was a lot of scrutiny around the cybersecurity industry that it is a very dangerous tool, and I just wonder we stop people from using it because I already know that they're going to release this model and people are going to be able to remove the rails.
It's gonna be fun for sure. When in the 90s, you could do a lot of cool things because um, like security engineers weren't a thing, and you could list files on a web server and see everything that's been uploaded there just because people didn't know how to set up Apache. And yeah, there's like a ton of things like cross-site scripting, this and that. There were so many attack vectors, and there were so few people who knew how to protect the company, the business from those things. And then over the years, the industry formed, and became more mature. So most of the known issues were discovered, patched, and best developed. What we're seeing now is basically a new cycle because new tools are coming out, and Mythos is going to be super powerful, I'm sure. And initially, it's going to be a very dangerous time. And I think security teams and companies will be very much in demand. But a lot of software engineers will be focusing on that. So to me, it's just, another cycle where new technology comes out, new risks and dangers associated with it come out, just like a couple years ago when everybody started building chatbots, and nobody knew that you had to, like, you couldn't just vibe code things and put together an LLM and put it on your website. So those chatbots started giving all sorts of private information or doing weird things.
Or giving away free cards.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then again, industry matured. Those things became fixing those things became best practices. I think with Mythos, the bar will be raised. Attackers will get a temporary advantage. Will again adopt.
Very fair. And I can't stress that enough to people out there. There's so much in terms of security. Like cybersecurity is a big field right now. Everybody's hiring for it, and they will train you. The other side to it, the other thing I wanted to ask is because you've been in the industry so long and you've seen hackers and the industry change, do you believe people are more good than bad?
I generally believe that people are more, no matter what industry. But someone smart said that being good it doesn't mean that you're weak. You still have to be able to protect yourself. So strength is when you can do bad things and you know how people do bad things, but you choose not to.
Very
That
fair.
is important. So we should educate ourselves about cybersecurity. I think it's not getting enough attention. And again, it didn't change with AI. It just became accelerated like many other things. But even before pre-AI, like you could do so many things. You can see what your neighbors are doing through Wi-Fi. That was before AI.
I love we developed the technology to be able to actually see into people's houses and see like where they were, how they're moving through Wi-Fi signals. That was wow, that was an eye opener for me. And I'm a conspiracy nut. I don't know if they're true or not. And then when I saw that, I'm like, there's a whole industry that can be built just off of this, like just in terms of warfare. And I'm sure Lucky Palmer has built that somehow into his technology to go and um, view infrastructure and see where people are and stuff like that. Do you let's get into Ukraine a little bit. Do you see how is warfare changed because of AI?
I know very little about that, to be
Okay.
honest. Mostly from the news, just like you. I think it changed a lot. I can see that a lot of money being poured in to new tabs, like warfare related. I think
Okay.
we'll see a lot of developments and changes there.
Um, what do you want for the future? What are you hoping most? Because I know we're going to go through a period of pain, a lot of pain, because people don't see what's coming and nobody's prepared. What do you want out of the other on the other side of that?
I don't really believe that we're going to go through a period of pain, to be honest. And again, I'm not I'm not a professional forecaster. I don't know the future. That's just my gut feeling,
Yeah.
based on my past experience. I think there will be painful moments for people who are not willing to adapt. But again, that's not a new thing. That's been painful before as well. It's just the pace is changing, and it's become much more accelerated. But the the substance of it is pretty much the same. I think it's going to be a bright future. I'm an optimist. I think AI makes us efficient at the boring parts and lets us focus on the creative parts. I believe that software development industry specifically is a very creative field, and writing code was never the fun part for me personally. Uh, so now I can just skip through that and focus on the fun stuff. I see bright future with a lot of people doing a lot of cool things. I can give you an example. I have a friend who, just like me, when he was a kid, his father was into like microelectronics and uh, radio engineering, but he had pretty rough youth. He distanced himself from the electronics. So I think in December, so like 6 months ago, he started using Cursor and Claude Code, and he realized that he can write code and learn about things. And he wasn't a software developer. He was doing completely different things for like 30 years of his life. And he was like, oh, cool. So I can do this. And I can buy this device and I can program a new firmware. And he started learning and building. And now he has a YouTube channel. Just today, he told me that he published a video and it has like 300,000 views. He published it yesterday. And he's just building stuff and publishing short videos about what he's doing. So he's not at the monetization point because YouTube has certain requirements, but a lot of companies are approaching him. They want to sponsor him and so on. And he's just doing it for fun because it's fun to learn, fun to build. He got himself a 3D printer, learned how to use Fusion, and it's all using the AI tools, information out there. It was there before, but now it's just easier and faster. And the barrier got lowered so much that anyone can do anything. You want to do gardening? You can do that. You don't need a landscape designer anymore. You want to build a house, like experiment with building a tiny wooden house. You could do that before. There were plenty of YouTube videos, but now you can take pictures, get guidance. You can use Claude to do some blueprints for you. So everything, you can do anything. All you have to have is this desire to do something. So I think the future is going to be bright and we're already there.
I agree with you. And in terms of building anything, I've started, so I'm happy that I run a 3D print farm now because now we can print with copper and I want to build my own computers and my own microchips and stuff like that. So I'm looking into, my problem is I don't know how to solder. I don't know how to do things. So I'm waiting to get a robot essentially to help me work it out. Very excited for us breaking the industry of the physical as well. Being where you're at, are you seeing the barrier of physical being broken down really fast as well as software? Because this is something that I've been in the news cycles, but I'm still not able to make the linkage of AI to robotics yet. I still don't quite understand where it's going
to be. Unfortunately, me personally, I'm too busy doing things. I'm already committed to build anything physical. But thanks to my friend, I have a tiny window into that world. So what he's doing is he wants to build his own robot and he's 3D printing everything. Like he's starting with the robot arm for now, but he's going to build the whole thing. And he showed me there are open source projects. You can 3D print the whole robot. There are LLMs that you can run on chip on the device, and there are ways to connect it and run it from the cloud elsewhere. He built a device. Basically, he built a device that you can connect to a computer, and I'll help him do some things like connect it to the cloud and make it more integrated. So these things become so much easier. Computer build me a robot. You still have to deep dive and learn, and it's a very like time-consuming, energy-consuming thing. You have to be very dedicated. But I can see the barrier lowering because 20 years ago, I was working at a firm as a system administrator, and the owner, he was super creative. He tried to create a physical device himself. He had to hire 5 people to design the device itself. and then pay like a product designer to design the physical outside, and then hire another company to build a prototype, and then hire another company to basically create a lot of copies. And it was crazy expensive, and the whole thing didn't work because in the end, when they've done everything stopped on marketing and sales, of course. And nowadays you can just prototype at home, and then you don't even right away.
The MIT not too long ago just 3D printed the first working motor based on just a print. Like they did one single print and it is a working motor, which is
Wow.
very impressive. I'm so excited for the hardware aspect because I think we're going to have, I feel like we're going to go through a superhero phase,
Mhm.
superhero and supervillains, where there's like people actually building things to make Iron Man. This thing,
Mhm.
there's going to be a period of that, and I'm so excited for it. But I know I don't want it to be like the Marvel universe or the DC universe. I just want it to be like people just trying to figure out how to do things because they're excited for it. And
Yeah.
that's the reasons I built this channel is I want to showcase those people. Also, what's your friend's channel name so that I can link it in the bio?
I'll send you the link.
All right, perfect.
His channel is called NDI Computer.
I love to see it and see what he's doing because there's so many people doing amazing things in this world, and I don't think we celebrate that enough. I think the internet over the past pre-COVID has been too filled with greed, anger, fear, and bots mainly. I attribute bots to being a major problem to a lot of people. And I think we're going into this space where we don't have the love, the hope, the enthusiasm that we used to when the internet was first starting out. Like, I remember back in the day being so excited, finding forums and talking to people about what I was doing because I've been coding since I was 14. I got my first computer at 14 and started tinkering with it. And I just want to showcase those people. I really think we're missing a data set now. I want to bring it back.
Yeah, we should definitely celebrate those people. I do think that it depends on perspective and the bubble you're in, because I don't have this feeling, because I'm
Mm.
mostly by people who are excited now, but they were equally excited 5 years ago, 10 years ago. If I think if you feel that the environment is not supporting you and you don't feel in a good place, maybe you need to change the environment. And there's so many communities out there. Like there's so many things on Reddit, on YouTube, and in general, people are very supportive. That's what I've found. No matter
I,
what you do.
I'm fairly certain I went through some dark rabbit holes, especially with really appreciating what I did. Being working public sector and being there because you want to make things better, being there because you want to make change, and then realizing really quickly that that's not going to happen really sends you down some dark holes. And I think a lot of people on my side aren't searching for the hope anymore. I think they've just kind of resigned themselves to that pessimistic worldview that everything sucks and nothing's going to get better. My old model used to be life sucks, then you die. And
Mhm.
now I'm just like so happy that I'm able to do so many things and help so many people. It's interesting the schism between people in different bubbles they're in.
I just wanted to tell you about two people I know. I know them from my childhood, and we're still talking. So one of them, he lives in Russia, and he was very politically active since everything started to go bad, and he was going to protests, and he was very active to the point where he got arrested, and a lot of bad consequences happened, and he kind of gave up. He wanted to change the country, he wanted to change the world, and it didn't work out, unfortunately, because you can't do it alone, and there were too few people who were supporting that change in general. So he gave up, unfortunately. It's very painful for me to see. But I have another friend I know from my childhood who went through a similar journey, but instead of giving up, he started to change things around him. Just from a simple act of walking by the beach and picking up trash while we do that and then throwing it away. And He's so much more happy. I think it relates to what you just said. Sometimes you can't change the world as much as you want, but you can still change the tiny world around you. And that makes you happy. And you touch a lot of people's lives and you make things better. And it's more of a very optimistic.
Oh no, I appreciate it because honestly, since becoming this more optimistic individual, I see it in a lot of people that a lot of them are starting to come to the realization that they can only change the little things in their lives and are now starting to. I think for a long time people wanted to fix too big of an issue and couldn't and suffered because of it. Just from my own friend group, people I've this with, change is coming, and I'm so excited for all of it. Do you have any? So this is. Do you have any leaving advice for our audience out there?
Be excited. I think that's the most important thing. I think the creative power we have inside ourselves is super important. And it's also easy to forget we have it. And it doesn't matter what you do. Maybe you build software for enterprises. Maybe you do local tours, for example. Maybe you fish. Maybe you're doing 3D printing. Maybe you do microelectronics. It doesn't matter because this it just changes something about your life. And there are very simple things, energy and need to do things. You have to sleep well, you have to exercise a little bit, get out there, get some sunlight, eat well, and then you start feeling it, and then you can do things.
Very fair, and I appreciate the sentiment. So for the audience,
My name is Alex Ponomarev. I'm the author of Thriving Engineering Substack. I write about leadership and management in software industry, recently about AI and how we can all thrive in this era. Thank you
perfect.
for hosting.
I'll make sure everything's in the link down below. And to everybody out there, if you need any or all the things I'm supposed to say, like, comment, subscribe.
Thank you, Cody. Bye.